Hello, my name is John Burns. I'm the founder and CEO of the Center for Aggression Management. Everyone wants to know, could the horrific Las Vegas shooting been prevented? Could Stephen Paddock been stopped? The answer is yes, and here's how. We all live with a hard truth. We start with a universal tenet that there is no reaction faster than an action. Once you grasp that, it brings us to that hard truth. That from the moment of commitment, that's when a person decides to pull their weapon and start shooting, to when the first round is discharged, is just 2 seconds. Within 5 seconds, there will be dead, dying, and or wounded. We cannot rely on security or law enforcement to arrive within that first 2 seconds. Therefore, we must do much, much better in foreseeing that horrific moment of commitment, getting out in front of it, and preventing the shooting in the first place. The answer we find in a study, the most thorough study ever done on aggression and violence. It was a collaboration between the U.S. Secret Service, the Department of Education, and the National Institute of Justice. It was called the Safe School Initiative Study. And what they learned was this. An inquiry should focus instead on a student's behavior communication to determine whether a student appears to be planning or preparing for an attack. The ultimate question, though, had to be, is this individual on the path to a violent attack? And more recently, the FBI has agreed that the way that they get out in front and prevent violence is to identify someone who's on the path to violence. We discovered that path to violence 23 years ago, when we discovered that there were 2 kinds of aggressive behavior. One was primal, the other cognitive. When we put both primal and cognitive aggression together, all of the body language and behavior that we've known about since the beginning of human history fell into place and became empirical. Because of this, 7 years ago, through Eastern Kentucky University, we were able to scientifically validate our process. Primal aggression is built on the primal instincts of fight or flight. It is fueled by adrenaline. That connection between aggression, the production of adrenaline, the increase in the heart rate, and the resulting body language and behavior that we can identify and most importantly measure. When I was working with the military, we were using infrared. And if we could get a square inch of skin, we could identify a person's pulse rate remotely and watch it go up and down based on the stimulus. This is hard science. However, primal aggression, because of the adrenaline rush, represents someone losing control. We see the red-faced, ready-to-explode guy, as we call him. So what about conscious, deliberate aggression? It doesn't fit. So for this, we develop cognitive aggression. This is conscious, deliberate aggression, or non-conscious in that someone repeats it often enough and they no longer give it a lot of thought and they become a vicious person. Cognitive aggression is built upon intent. Quite simply, what is your intent with this person or persons? Is it in your interest and theirs, therefore a win-win as it ought to be? Or is it in your interest and to their detriment? In other words, you're going to victimize this person. You're becoming a victimizer. We have 9 clearly defined stages of cognitive aggression. The first grouping are the victimizers. The next, the predators, clearly intent-driven. The highest form of cognitive aggression is the 9th stage cognitive aggressor or terrorist, or someone who is a perpetrator of murder-suicide, like Stephen Paddock. Someone whose goal it is to give up their life for a cause, and their body language and behavior reflect that intention. The 8th level, incidentally, is the murderer or combatant in a military sense, who is prepared to give up their life for a cause, but intend to survive. In the case of the combatant, to kill more of you tomorrow. The seventh stage, the complicit tactician, is someone who is completely complicit with the 8th and ninth level. They want certain people to die, but they're not going to kill them, nor are they going to put themselves that much at risk. Why? Because they're going to inspire other people to do this, like the late Osama bin Laden, or a terrorist handler, or in a domestic sense, someone who helps with logistics, an accomplice. Each, the 7th, 8th, and ninth, is a precursor to the next. Each give us the ability to get out in front of the next. But what you're missing is that there's also a 6th, a 5th, a 4th, a 3rd, a 2nd, a 1st, and a 0 baseline. And every venue presents a 0 baseline that we can now identify objective, measurable observables to identify someone who's aggressing. But here's the key. When any human being, regardless of their culture, gender, education, creed, sexual orientation, position in a community, when any human being rises to the level where they're prepared to give up their life for a cause, their body language and behavior responds to that intention, and there is no greater intention, by losing animation. In essence, the body says, I'm dead, and it takes on that look. So what do we see? We see what the military calls 1,000-yard stares. Others refer to as dead eyes. But it's more than that. Their whole body language and behavior loses animation. The Israelis call it the walking dead. And here's the key. They come to the scene with this look. If you're trained to identify this look, you'll engage this person using what we call the judicious interview, which uses scientific cause and effect principles to ask specific questions or to take specific action that produces a predictable result when someone intends to harm. You see, we believe that Stephen Paddock had this look. From the time that he entered into that hotel, from the time that he carried 13 very heavy suitcases up to his room, throughout the several days that he was prior to the time when he effected his violence, Stephen Paddock had this look. So we, with this knowledge, could have identified Stephen Paddock and prevented the horrific shooting in Las Vegas. If you'd like to know more about this, I recommend that you go to this website, watch this video that we have. It'll explain how and why this system works. And if you have further questions, all you have to do is give us a call, send us an email, and I'll be happy to stand ready to answer any questions you have.